Islam? Islam? Islam. As I rise, La ilaha illallah. There is no person, deity, or thing worthy of worship save Allah. He is the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. All praise is due to Allah. The highest of honors to his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honors to the Moorish flag, the red flag with the five-pointed green star in the center, represent the five pious principles known to man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I want to give honors to the forerunner of the prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Deuce Ali, and Elijah Muhammad as well. I want to give honors to all grand bodies in the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to give honors to Temple number 19, which is the office of the Grand Governor, the Chief Staff, the Vanguards, and Sisters Auxiliary. Especially the Ills and Bays, I want to give a special Islam to. Islam? All right. Honestly, I kind of want to shut down because I believe everyone here has said everything that really needs to be said for this week. But as time allotment, I will give a little bit. Some of the things that we've learned about, especially when it comes to unity, unity in the temple, unity amongst our people, these things are very important. It's come up quite a few times today already. There's actually a chapter on unity, chapter 26, which we'll be drawing from. In this, we'll see how unity is maintained and how unity is lost as well. All right? That should be page 54. Islam? Chapter 26, Holy Instructions of Unity. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he hath appointed to everyone his portion, and what measure seemeth good unto himself. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with knowledge of truth, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for thine own improvement? True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often, and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast for superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man, now we have two different people we're talking about the wise man and the fool, of course. The wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shallow stream of his own mind and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls. With the applause of his brethren delighteth himself. So we have the thing that's given to create unity, which is a level of understanding of wisdom, knowledge, information, these sorts of things. How people take that information and translate it is the problem. You have one who uses it wisely, he doesn't use it to puff himself up or to be superior in his own right, but he uses it to share amongst his people. What we call build, ricochets it off other people, number one, to feed them, and number two, to feed himself. The fool, what he does is he takes those little things he's learned and he shows them to everyone as if he's superior to everyone. That is the problem. And in that, it breeds a certain type of energy. A certain type of energy we should always be aware of, especially as members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And that is, it breeds a level of disgruntledness. You get mad all the time. And the people in the temple are always mad about everything because they feel like they know everything. We feel like we're our own gods. Instead of it being us, it's just me. I'm the whole nine. And you're not doing what I want you to do, like the sister said earlier. That's an issue. The things that we have and the things that we do are for our people. This isn't a thing that brings us personal finance. It's not something I live off of or that we all live off of. Brothers out here wearing their knees out to protect us, not just themselves, right? We teach not just for ourselves, just so you know I'm nice. I'm all right, but really what it comes down to is this is a job that we've been given. It's true, right? People have a misunderstanding of what the Moorish Science Temple is, because the quote that we constantly hear is what the temple ain't doing, X, Y, and Z. It's always about what the temple ain't doing every week. What is the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Uplift all of humanity. Is it to feed one's ego and their every wants, needs, and desires? Definitely not. I would love it if the temple had 1 million businesses and we could do all these things and pay for people's lives. If we want to do that, we have to do that. I'm not doing that. It's not my job. I have a specific job. I have a specific skill set. Outside of that, it doesn't work. And while we talk about the things that we haven't done, one thing that we haven't done in our individual lives is put our individual lives and our accomplishments up against what the temple has done. Because I guarantee you will lose every time. We just have to be more mindful about this thing that we have, because, I would need somebody who's intelligent. I need you to raise your hand. Mildly intelligent to some degree. Any one of you people, show me what a temple is.
The one we're sitting in, or the one?
Show me what the temple is. Show me what the temple is.
Where is it?
Where's the temple? Yeah.
The one
In your
inside.
mind.
Mind, heart, same thing, right? Same computer, right? All right, cool. In that, you have different organs, right? Ears have a specific function. The last time your ears got mad at your kidney, what happened? Exactly. Don't sound right, And if you have an organ that gets disgruntled, what happens? It tends to fail, cancer, X, Y, Z, those sorts of things. It goes its own way. What we have is and in that disgruntledness, it echoes out in the world. So what you have is people that are not from the Moorish Science Temple of America, but the Moorish Science Temple of Zuckerberg, i.e. Facebook. They don't like what goes on in the Moorish Science Temple of America, don't make me laugh, in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? And there's a lot of disgruntled voices in the world from people who have ills and bays on their name. Like, does the Moorish Science Temple of America own the name ill? Not necessarily, because a lot of groups have those, has the ill on the end of the name. However, when you see people and you see the way that they present themselves, it's a problem. And I know I do this quite a bit. I go and I'll say, listen to this, and I'll read off some, what people are saying, and you get a vibe of it. I'm gonna do it again. Let's go here. This is from a Facebook Moor that's not in the temple, right? No, we're gonna go. Yeah, let's go to the Mad Moors first. All right. You say, one brother makes a comment that says, if you're not in the Moorish Science Temple of America, he said, I see a lot of ills and bays, but none of these people are in the temple, a part of the body, right? This is a quote, it says, you make it sound like being a Moor is some kind of cult. There are a lot of temple Moors who are not in the temples, who are in the temples that don't have all the answers either. The prophet said they're all going to be new Moors coming in with eyes wide open, worship under your own fig tree. That is a blatant misquote of what the prophet said. Exactly. The next one is, it says, stop being an author of confusion. So this person has been around some Moors to learn a little bit of language. I visited a temple and it reminded me of church, as usual. Anybody can recite the one-on-ones and other literature written by the prophet. I'm going to find out. They're not in their right standing. No community, no literature being produced, no jobs created, no civics classes. Sound like a bunch of talking parrots. No thanks. All right. Now, it says it reminded me of church, as usual. What do we teach that the church teaches? All right. Number 2, what have you done in your life for your people more than what the church has done? To be able to have a standing to disregard the church as if it's nothing. Now, you have a forerunner to Noble Drew Ali, right? His name was Marcus Mosiah Garvey. What was his religion? He was a Catholic, more specific, right? Now, this man, his religion was disregarded in the ability, that, in his ability to accomplish feats or whatever, right? So what are you doing more than what that Christian man has done since the church is garbage? Like, if you want to fight this fight against the church and the ideal of church, you need to know what church you're fighting, number one, and know what tools you have to fight it. And with an army, you gonna do it by yourself? All right. The next part of that was anybody can recite the 101s and other literature by the prophet. How easy is it to learn your divine constitution and bylaws? It is not as easy as people make it think. I think, right? It is a hard thing. It doesn't read the way that we want it to read. And it's a good exercise to learn those things. How many people know their 101s by heart? Their 102s? Morris literature? Exactly. So how easy is that? And why haven't you learned it? All right, but that's a whole different thing. All right. They're not in their right standing. What is the standing of the Moorish Science Temple of America? What is proper standing and not right? Because I've heard this a few times about how the temple is not in its right standing. You're not doing what the prophet actually did and things of that nature. All right. No literature being produced. No community. Now, if you want to have an ill obey on your name, you want to have a community, whose fault is that we don't have the community that you want? Get off Facebook and get in here and make a community. It's not done by me. I'm also a community. It doesn't work like that. Everybody has to add on. We don't all have to, think the exact same way or be able to have the same skill set, but bring those things somewhere. All right? No literature being produced. All right, yeah, we got books. I mean, what you gonna do? And if we didn't want to use that, we have all the sources, books. No jobs created, and whose fault is that? Same thing as before. And no civics classes. We're gonna get into civics class right in a second, but let's talk about job creation. It's amazing how you want to use a name, ill and bad, recognizes it more in the digital world, but yet you have all these demands of the temple, but don't want to be a part of the temple. Do something else. Be something else. You can't tell me what I'm supposed to be. Then be part and partial to the rules. Because either you're following or you're not. Either you're truth or you're lying. All right? Now, as far as, what was the last point? I forgot the last point. The civics classes. The reason why people want civics classes is because they want to learn how to skirt the law. That's pretty much what it is. Our people are damaged. They're hurting. Only thing that they want is some way to get some kind of, work around in the government so they can play the little game and stuff like that. So that's why we don't have civics classes, because we're not about to entertain that foolishness, straight up and down. All right? I'm not about to teach you how to, get around driver's license and all that kind of stuff. No. Now, another one of the Moors says, more means, basically, or more stands for European/Africans with rich melanated fathers and non-melanated mothers. You know what I'm talking about. More only applies to people that had European mothers and melanin-rich fathers or half-breed/mulattoes. More, also spelled in different ways, means, quote-unquote, most, M-O-S-T. That's what the word more means. More means most. And it means dark in color as well as cat. Now, that was a theory that more meant cathead at one point in time. Cathead, yeah, the head of a cat. All right, now this is for all you card-carrying Moorish Americans. It says, does it not state Aboriginal, Native American on your nationality card? I'm assuming you have one. Does it state Aboriginal, Native American on your nationality card? Or anyone's nationality card? Not at all. No, it doesn't. That's not a part of our conversation. That's not the way we speak. That's not the way the Moors speak. That has nothing to do with us. All right? Let's get to the good stuff. All right. Then, can you use your nationality to go anywhere, such as airports, gas stations, etc.? Because last I checked, the MSTA is an individual business. with no standing anywhere but inside the MSTA. How many times who's been to the gas station? Who's been to the gas? You've been in the gas station? You've been in one before, right? You've been to the gas station? Have you 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 been to the gas station? For you proclaim Moors, did you stop being a Moorish American when you went to the gas station? How ignorant is that? See, this is the pretended wise that the people who show the pebbles and stuff that we was talking about. Do you put your Moorish Americanness away? Come on, man. All right. All right, this is my favorite one. Let's go to my favorite one. Tell me why Noble Drew Ali said Moors descend from Moabites. Is it because Moabites were not included amongst the people to be driven out by the Israelites when they entered Canaan? Is it because Israelites do not have constant beef with Moabites? David was of Moabite lineage through Ruth. Reuben and Gad settled in Moab. Moab was born from incestual relation between Lot and his eldest daughter, says the Bible. So do Moors who uphold the lineage given by Noble Drew Ali claim to descend from Haran, as he fathered Lot, who fathered Moab and Ammon, who was incestuous. It isn't because the Quran leaves out stories of Lot's incestual relations that most Moors don't acknowledge them. Then is it evidence the term Moor has been Islamified, refined, reshaped, redefined in its Islamification. This implication appears as a result of the Arabization of black Africans, not Africans, but Africans. Now, anyone who has any understanding of the Israelite piece, when Joshua came through, this is history, it is what it is, he pushed out everybody. When the Israelites, the Hebrews, whatever term y'all want to use, came through, they pushed, not every single person obviously, but they pushed large amounts of people out. The Moabites went out as well. But when there's an invasion, not every person leaves. There's a thing called subjugation as well. So either when we come through, either you leave and you can fight, or you can fall in line, right? Or fall under. It happens, right? Now, do Israelites have constant beef with Moabites? You're talking about a history that is, I don't know how many thousands of years old. Nobody fighting over that stuff no more. You can't necessarily separate outside of the oral tradition an Israelite from a Moor. You can't really necessarily see the difference. Like you can't say, oh yeah, got you. I know what you are. It's not a thing that you do. You know them by their story. Everyone has a story. The Israelites have a story. They have a story about Lot. The thing with propaganda is, it's always, what you do is you tear down a person before you invade them. You make them the bad guy. That's just the way that warfare works. You say you're a bad guy because you did something bad, so we're justified and righteous for coming and taking all your stuff. It's a power play. It's propaganda. It is what it is. Because the Bible states that there's a specific history of Moab and Ammon, do we necessarily have to answer to that history as written by our cousins, quote unquote? Do we have to answer to that? We tell our story. And it's amazing that, and we talk about this all the time, is that when you call yourself a Moorish American, everybody, the first thing they say is prove it. Like this guy wanted you to prove the word Moor in a specific localized Arabic tradition at a specific time. Come on, man, I'm not about to do that. The answer's no. How about that? If we want to be who we say we are, if we want this thing to be right and exact, first things first is that we have to get it together. We have to be the family that the Moors said that we wanted. It's the community. Does the community always get along? Do I always get along with my brothers and sisters? No, that's not my job. It's to always get along with my brothers and sisters. But at the end of the day, they're mine. And we are us. So when the thing was, when it's all about, if it's a thing of the temple not being right, then get in and make it right. These are mostly people who've never stood in the temple. Some people said it was too churchy. We'll change it up there. Take out the churchiness. Show me how good you are. You know, everybody wants to be the Sheik. Everybody wants to be the, the whole nine. Okay, show me that. Show us this. If we want something, like we have people who do things. And this is one example. We have people who do things like feed the homeless, right? People who have an affinity for the homeless, they should be part and parcel of that. Those who are not, should not. Does every Irishman come out to do whatever Irish people do? No, the people who are interested in that go out and make that happen. If we want certain things, if we want government representation, if we want to build a bigger, edifice, if we want to do all these things to make people see that we're telling the truth, then you need to be a part of it. One of the things I don't like about, us recording is that we're giving things away. Nobody has to come in and actually listen to us anymore. And in that, it kind of gets under my skin, because it's like, if you don't have the respect to take the first steps, then why should I give everything that I have? Because the minute I do, the first thing you're gonna say is, that ain't good enough, give me some more. Feed me again. Over and over again. Now we gotta come out with all kinds of measures out of the universe and do all this stuff. There may be times where we cut the camera off, and then we deal with certain things outside of that. Because everything we have don't need to just go out to you, and you just take it in, read it, and say, oh, I know everything now. And let me disrespect the foundation of this thing that the prophet built for your own ego. Right? That's right on time. Let's shut down. Islam? 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 Islam. The Moorish Science Temple of America. A warning from the prophet to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speech while on their jobs, homes, or in the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose their confidence in their prophet, give it your card, button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. Islam?
Islam.
All right. I don't do close out long speeches, so I need everyone to rise and face the east. All Moorish Americans, please place your feet at a 45-degree angle. 5 fingers open on the left, 2 fingers closed on the right. Repeat after me. Allah,
Allah,
the Father of the universe,
the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
Father of love,
truth, peace, freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
and my salvation,
and my salvation.
by night
By night
and by day,
and by day.
through his holy prophet,
Through his holy prophet.
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Ameen.
Amen.
Islam, Lord.